So you think I lost any more weight since yesterday?
And you
want to check out my physique? I think I lost some weight. What do you think?
I can't see.
I can.
What do you think?
I think you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah, really.
What do you think?
Your arms down. I don't know. I really can't see. There's a whole thing in front of you.
You know what? I think she's blocked. Just blocked.
Yeah,
that little rubber tire. Stand on your toes. Show that little tire there. See that?
You're looking better.
Yeah. Wait, I'll get into shape to the point where you're going to want me. I had this whole big, me, Gary, and Ranzo got together yesterday.
Yeah.
And the whole conversation was Robin ever in love with you? And I said yes. And Gary said yes.
Oh, please.
And I said,
what the hell is wrong
Robin's
with you
into this whole honesty thing, but she won't admit it.
Yeah.
Hey, that's my opinion. You can't change
Before
it.
you got here?
What?
Before you guys got to New York?
Well, Gary, I said, Gary goes, I know exactly.
He knew it, too.
Gary goes, I know exactly when Robin was in love with you.
Really?
Yeah, and I go, well, let me see if I pinpoint the same exact thing. All right, so you write down what you think, and I'll write down what I think.
Why don't you all do it now?
So anyway.
Fred, you don't believe that ever happened, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
I do believe
All right, write down when you think it happened.
No, I'll tell you when it happened. You started falling in love with me in Washington, toward the end of our stint in Washington, and you loved me almost all through NBC.
Oh, when did I fall out of love with you? What happened?
No, I think that you finally realized that I'm a married man and I can't marry you.
Howard had a baby. You were
Admit you were in love with me. You were in love. That's a lie.
Never.
The baby ruined everything. Howard's baby.
Well, Gary thought the baby. I said she paid no attention to the baby.
What baby?
Emily.
I said I thought it was before you met Allison, the way you describe it in the book, that you know Howard was great. He was amazing. I had to meet this other person. But I think after you met Allison, I think you stopped being in love with her.
I met Allison 2 minutes after we met.
No, you cannot tell from Robin's book when she blocked it all out. You cannot tell from her book when she fell in love with me. I know because I know when a woman's in love with me.
Oh, you're so crazy.
In fact, you know what? I'll give you a story. I'll give you a story. You let me write your book.
Go ahead. Give me a story.
I'll write your sequel.
Oh, you're so wacky.
You know what? You still have the look of love. Believe me. You might still be in love.
I said to Howard, when two artists connect creatively like that every day, there has to be something going on.
Of course.
Why?
Well, with you,
if it was two guys, would you say that?
Yeah, Mark and Brian married each other twice.
But there's nothing clicking there. Give me a break.
Well, in their mind, they're clicking. Anyway, the audience doesn't understand it, but
they seem to know something's going on.
Mark and Brian are busy proposing to one another. There's two guys who shouldn't be in love.
God.
So,
do you think, well, I can't use Keith and Mick, can I?
I'll give you a story. When you were, having your little nervous breakdown with me and you were yelling and screaming all the time.
Yes.
So.
I treated you differently than anybody else.
No. No, you were whacked out of your head. And it was like the worst time to work with you, to the point where I almost couldn't take it anymore. Yeah. So, I guess I can't work with... I can work with sick people, but not that sick.
Well, not when they're beating you.
Right. Not when they're yelling and screaming and hitting me.
No reason for it.
So anyway, I was talking... Who was it? Oh, yeah. I was talking to my wife and my mother about, gee, Robin's really bad. She's in bad shape. I mean, she's just whacked out. She complains about stuff. I don't even know what she's talking about, but I humor her and I go, and I say...
Okay, if you think that's happening,
I go, Robin, let's talk about it and get it out in the air. And then you'd be okay as long as you felt like we had talked about something. Right. But you were whacked out of your brain because I never for a minute...
Subject you had no clue on.
I had no idea what you were talking about.
Robin, I have to be quite honest with you. I have no idea what you're talking about.
But I figured the way to calm you down was to say, hey, let's have a talk.
That's right.
Right. So anyway...
So sweet.
Yeah. Well, it's a way to do it. You make someone feel like something's going on, like there's progress.
Right. He entered right into my paranoia with me.
Right. I said, hey, you're absolutely right.
They are after you, Rob.
I said, and you want to know? I'll protect you. You're just going to make me aware of it. I don't always see it coming. So anyway, So I was telling my mother about it. She goes, there's nothing wrong with her. She's in love with you.
Oh,
I said, where's my mother?
And how many times has your mother been right about anything?
Don't get so defensive. Just listen.
Just answer me.
My mother's right about a lot of stuff.
Very few times do you come in here and say, you know what, my mother was right.
When it comes to you, she's right. So she says, I go, what do you mean, Ma? She goes, she's in love. I said, you're kidding.
When was this, Howard?
This was years ago.
I'm shocked.
We were at the table.
She never said this to me.
Well, she's not going to tell you. She knows you're in love with me.
And you didn't come back and tell me.
So I said,
I can't believe you didn't talk about that on the air.
please, you were in no condition to be in love with me. You would have gone psycho. You would have jumped out a window. So I had to protect you.
Oh, that would have been a great story.
It would have been great now. Back then, it wouldn't have been. What do you mean I'm in love with you? I'm insulted. All right, so anyway, I said, really? I said, what makes you say that? She goes, look, she's having a relationship with you, and she's having certain issues that she has to work out. And she said, this is like how me and your father react to one another.
Oh, please.
So she said you were in love. She predicted that you were in love with me at that point.
Right. And you went along with her.
You can't get...
Why not? It was very complimentary. I liked it.
I think this is all transference. I think you have been in love with me.
Oh, I don't deny it, though. I never deny it. I'm in love with just about any woman that walks.
But Howard, Howard being in love with you is different because if he has you once, he'll never want you again.
Right. I'd rather not have you.
But
at least I'm professional. I don't want you. See, the theory is that you want me.
No.
You can't have me.
You have wanted me.
Oh, of course. But I admit that.
Those beauties.
Come on. Of course I'd want you. I want Fred. But I don't,
Hey, is Fred in love with you?
Another show.
Yeah. Why don't you...
Why'd you bring that up?
Yeah, let me think about that. In a sense, yes. In a sense, yes.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Yeah. But
Well, how come I can't be in a manner of speaking?
No, you're not. You're the way a woman loves a man.
Because I'm a guy and you're a girl.
Now you ready to confess?
No.
You have never been in love with me.
I love you.
No.
I love you
Oh.
beyond reason.
You've never want to have sex with me.
More than anybody in the world,
No.
but I've never been in love with you.
All right.
Never
Take a deep
thought of
breath
that.
for a second. Excuse me. Could you guys be quiet for a second? Would you guys leave the room for a second? Leave the room. I want to talk to Robin
Let me
privately.
say to you right now.
No, let the guys
that
leave.
If your wife dropped
Get out.
dead today, I would assist you in finding another woman because I would not lobby for that position.
All right. All the guys are gone now. You don't have to keep up the front. All right. You don't have to act
And there's
tough.
nobody listening.
There's no one listening. Now look at me. Is anyone in the room?
Nobody's
No, okay.
in the room.
Look at me.
Yes, I'm looking
Can
right
you
at you.
honestly say?
Now don't divert your eyes. I'm looking you right in the eye.
I the same as you. Can you honestly say
Yes.
that, like, when we met in Washington and stuff, and then we started working together, and we were fighting the good fight in Washington against everyone, and everyone was
Right.
coming down on us.
Yes.
There did not come a point where you, look at you, you're getting dreamy. Did not come a point where you would look at me and say, maybe I should have sex with Howard. I would like to have sex with Howard. You were going to go on record and say
never
that.
happened.
All right. Well,
Because quite
You're being
frankly,
dishonest.
Howard,
yeah.
I'm being dishonest.
Yes, you're being dishonest. You're being dishonest. I know it. You cannot even confess on the air that you wanted to sleep with me. Admit it.
I've never wanted to sleep with you.
And never at NBC.
Never at NBC.
Oh, that is such a lie.
Never at CBS. Never at ABC.
And would you be willing to take a lie detector test?
Yes.
You would.
Absolutely.
All right, it will be done. Gary, all right, everyone back in the room. Gary, I want her hooked up.
Fine.
You have to get that guy with the lie detector.
I can't tell the truth. She laughs too much.
Right.
Every time she laughs.
And did you hear all that giggling that was going on while I asked her that?
Oh,
Could barely look me in the eye.
If you ask me anything, they'll be giggling.
Now let's
Not true. You were giggling like a schoolgirl when I asked you that.
Giddy.
You were giddy.
silly.
You were dizzy.
So silly. Have I ever done anything? Have I ever, forgotten myself
That's
in
exactly
any way
why you're in love with me.
and given you the impression that something could go on?
You are physical with everyone else but me. Because you cannot, because if you got near me, you would almost rape me.
She would explode.
You'd ruin what you
That's right.
have.
I'm
That's right.
physical with Fred?
Yes. Very physical.
She grabbed my ass once.
It's true.
Can I tell her what the other half of the conversation was about?
Yeah.
We discussed the other half an hour whether you were a lesbian or not. How long it took us to figure out that you weren't.
Well, I
Oh,
knew,
wait a minute.
but I knew all along
I
you
still
were.
want to know how could you think I was in love with
No,
him?
Gary knows you were in love with me.
So, I mean, there was a period where I definitely thought you were.
Well, you know.
She knows it too, but she doesn't want to admit it.
And Jackie
because
thought this too.
No,
Hey,
Fred
listen,
would be a big
Robin, no one will think any less of you because you were in love with me.
No. I don't know how you could come to that conclusion.
Because you were. You were in love with me. Admit it. You're gonna crack under the lie detector test.
First of all, nobody has any signs.
The way you acted around me.
How was
She
that?
denied it even to herself.
You were so frustrated.
I denied it even to myself.
You did.
You're so funny, Fred.
Fred, am I right about this?
I think you're.
When was it, Fred? When was it?
Fred,
you
I
walked into that situation in Washington, and you thought I was in love with Howard.
Fred felt like he was coming between two lovers.
Exactly.
Let me tell you all
You know what it is? It's like when people are making out at a table and you're like sitting there and you're kind of like, what do you do?
You feel like you shouldn't be there? Well, let me tell you something, you dodos. You don't know.
Fred always feels like
All right, let me know what you don't know.
That hurt.
Go ahead. What don't we know?
That in order to create the thing we have on the air, I would have to put myself in the mindset that I was in love with you. So I would be in that mindset when we were on the air.
I see. Very good.
That's another book.
Excuse me. Do you remember that penthouse photograph?
Yes. Yes.
With
Of
the
you?
dreamy eyes.
Of me?
Of us.
Yes.
The two of us.
Yes. Where you were gazing at me?
Right. And
Positive you were in love.
And Allison looked at that picture and said, "Oh, my God, you're in love with my husband."
Of course. You are.
And that was the whole thing. The guy was taking a picture, and I said, "All right, let me pretend like I do on the air that I'm in love with
Okay,
Howard."
I can see that you're embarrassed by that.
No embarrassment
We won't talk
whatsoever.
about that. So
she's done
I am
that
a
for 15
great,
years. That's really
great
What?
actress.
If you were that
So
good,
she's done that for 15 years.
Yeah.
if Robert, if you were that good an actress, you'd be getting Academy Awards daily.
Nobody will hire me.
I'd hire you.
People don't see that it's an act.
I'm going to put you in my movie.
Yeah, the five of us don't see it.
See? I got you all fooled, and you're right here.
And you never loved Tom.
Never loved Tom? I could never love Tom.
No, she didn't love Tom. She just wanted to have sex with Tom.
That was what she wanted with me.
Tom.
She wanted to have sex with me. That's what I'm saying.
I like Tom.
She wanted me to give it to her.
Right, yeah.
You know what it is? You needed it so bad. I could have cured you years ago.
I tell you, just sitting here, trying to conjure up the vision of you and Robert doing it is very funny.
Hey, I could see it. Hot beef injection always cures every woman.
Trying to think of your parents doing it.
Yeah.
So
Nah, we wouldn't look like no parents.
So during that spell of the...
So when did I fall out? Oh, you say I'm not out of love with you.
And I tried to discourage it as much as I could.
Right. You really felt badly for me, and what did you do to discourage me?
Well, I would, sometimes I wouldn't practice the best hygiene.
Fart.
I know you didn't like it when I didn't shave, so I wouldn't shave on purpose so that you wouldn't be too attracted to me.
Right, and you had to stay away from me so that I wouldn't get the impression that anything could ever go on. So that's why we weren't together all the time.
You see, you know a lot more than I thought.
Right, we were constant together. We never left each other's sides. If I was so in love, how could I not do something?
You're uptight.
Read my book. I have no inhibitions in that area. When I want something, I have to go for it.
Wait a second. If you have no inhibitions, how come you didn't have sex with anyone for like 9 years?
I don't want to.
That's not true.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you were carried away with all the masturbation during that whole big, huge...
Yeah.
Thought about me every night.
Was it usually Howard?
Yep.
No, never Howard.
She can't admit that.
Never, ever, ever.
Never anyone.
You have
on
never
the
thought
show.
about me.
I've told
Excuse
you
me.
guys 10 billion times. Never
Would you be
anyone
willing,
on the
under a
show.
lie detector, when we have you under, would you be willing to say that you never thought about me while you were with your vibrator?
Fine. I will say that.
Okay. Hook her up.
Can we have to slip in accidentally?
Of course.
Why?
She's lying. She's so repressed. You'll read the book. Between the lines, you can see she was in love with me.
That's when I realized it, when I read the book.
When you read the book, you realized
I
it.
do love him.
Oh, yes, you do.
I've never denied that. Howard
Thank you,
is
Barbara.
more important to me than anyone else on earth. I will tell you that unequivocally.
That's love.
But I'm not in love with him.
Yeah.
No, but you may have been at one time.
Never.
Not even for a fleeting moment?
No.
Of course
I've
you did.
admired him, but I've never loved him in that way.
And I'll tell you the truth. She loved me.
Nah.
In that way.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I never
You
wanted
wanted
to
it
have
really
sex with
bad.
you. Never, never, never,
Okay.
never.
All right. Okay. Hey, give me give me the Jackie puppet and the Gary puppet. Robin will be played by the Gary puppet, and I'll be the Jackie puppet, and
Why do I have to be the big team?
All right, I'll be the Gary puppet, and I will recreate what Robin wanted from me. All right.
You're so silly. I know that you wish this, but it didn't happen.
Of course I wish it. Let's see. You see those two puppies.
And Fred, I'm ashamed of you thinking
Hey, you
that.
want to operate the...
I never thought you were a lesbian, though.
I'll operate Jackie.
Never.
Since Jackie has the rubber weenie, I'll be the guy.
All right.
Hi, Robin. You ready for the show today?
I'm not attracted to you.
Oh, yeah? Well, let me just... Let's find out. Oh, wait, but you...
I'm not attracted to you.
Yeah, but your legs are spread.
Go away. Go away. I don't want it. Deepa. I don't want it. Deepa. Oh.
There you go. All right, take this. Take these two puppets. These puppets weigh a lot.
Crazy.
As she's saying no, your legs were completely spread.
Right. And that's what working with me was like.
Just, hey, we did a little puppet show. All right, let's take a break, Robin. You can cool down.
You calm down.
And we'll be back right after the... And read it all in Quivers.
And I've never been in love with anybody else on this show.
Discussion over.